This is how hard life was for Jesus, the Son of God. Everyone saw a quiet man, a simple boy, a carpenter's son, but no one truly knew the weight he carried inside. Before he spoke a single word, heaven already knew his destiny. He wasn't sent here to live an easy life. He came to walk through pain, betrayal, hunger, and death itself, just to save the same people who would one day mock him. This is the true story of Jesus. Long before his birth, prophets spoke of a Messiah, a child who would bring light into a dark world. In a quiet town called Nazareth lived Mary, pure, gentle, and faithful. Then suddenly, light filled her small room. An angel appeared and said, "Mary, you have found favor with God. You will give birth to a son, and his name will be Jesus." Mary trembled, not from fear, but from the weight of heaven's plan. And from that day, the world began to change. When her time came, she and Joseph traveled to Bethlehem, but there was no room in any inn. The Savior of the world was born not in a palace, but in a dirty stable, surrounded by animals. The King of Heaven slept in a manger, wrapped in cloth, no golden crown, no royal robe, just the soft cry of a baby who would carry the pain of the world. Angels sang, shepherds watched in awe, and wise men followed a bright star to bring him gifts, because even heaven knew this child was not ordinary. As a child, Jesus didn't act like the others. He was gentle, wise, and calm. At 12 years old, his parents found him in the temple, not playing, but teaching grown men about God. When Mary asked, "Why did you do this to us?" he answered, "Didn't you know I must be about my Father's business?" Even then, he already knew his path wouldn't be easy. He began to teach and to heal. He gave sight to the blind, made the lame walk, cleansed lepers, and raised the dead. He turned water into wine, fed thousands with a few loaves of bread, and walked on water. Crowds followed him wherever he went. Yet the more miracles he did, the more enemies he made. The priests hated him, the rulers feared him. They couldn't stand that people loved a poor man more than them. But Jesus kept walking, healing and forgiving, knowing the same voices that shouted Hosanna would soon cry, "Crucify him." One evening, he sat with his 12 disciples for one final meal. He looked at them with love and said, "One of you will betray me." He broke the bread and said, "This is my body, given for you." He lifted the cup and said, "This is my blood, poured out for the forgiveness of sins." Even in that moment, knowing his death was near, he still loved them all, even Judas. Later that night, he went to the Garden of Gethsemane. The Son of God knelt to the ground and prayed, "Father, if you can, take this cup from me, but not my will, yours be done." His sweat became like drops of blood. He wasn't afraid to die. He was heartbroken by the weight of the world's sin. Then came the soldiers, and Judas kissed his cheek. That kiss broke heaven's heart. They arrested him, mocked him, and beat him. They placed a crown of thorns on his head. Each strike of the whip tore his skin, yet he stayed silent. When asked, "Are you the King of the Jews?" he replied softly, "You say that I am." He carried his cross up the hill of Golgotha. People shouted, laughed, spat on him, and still he looked at them with love. "Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do," he said. Then the sky turned black, the earth trembled, and Jesus whispered, "It is finished." The Son of God, dead. Then, on the third day, light broke through the darkness. The stone rolled away. An angel appeared and said, "Why do you look for the living among the dead? He is not here, he is risen." Death had lost its power. The grave was defeated. Jesus appeared to his followers and said, "Peace be with you." He had conquered sin and death forever. Before returning to heaven, Jesus told them, "Go and tell the world what you've seen. I will be with you always, even to the end of the age." Then he lifted his hands, blessed them, and rose into the clouds. He didn't leave behind a religion. He left behind a revolution of love, and his message still echoes today. Forgive when it's hard, love when it hurts, believe when it seems impossible. So the next time you think your life is hard, remember this: even the Son of God suffered, but he never gave up. He lost everything so you could gain eternity. He was rejected so you could be accepted. He died so you could live. That is the life of Jesus, the greatest story ever told.